Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Plenty with Sulo. The venue partner, Department of Coffee. The clothing partner, G Flock. Hair and makeup, Beauty Quest. Be tuned to Daily Mirror Online. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Plenty with Sulo. Today, more than ever, society believes in attitudes, motivation needed by us. So while we get the knowledge, society also focus on the trainings, including the attitude trainings and motivation. So I thought I need to bring someone who speaks on that. And he is a corporate trainer, motivator, lecturer, and a business consultant. He is Suranga Tennakoon. Hi Suranga.
Hi Sulo. Thank you very much for inviting me.
And thank you for actually accepting my invitation.
No problem at all. My pleasure.
Today we are going to talk about you, talk about the society, the corporates, and also the global and local economy. Before we proceed, if I ask you to do a self-introduction, Suranga, how would you do it?
Sulo, I myself, you introduced my name, Suranga Tennakoon. If you look at started my career, I'm not from Colombo. I have come from Anuradhapura.
Okay.
Studied in a school in Anuradhapura. After that, moved to Colombo. Started from the hospitality sector. Hospitality is my background. I worked in a different world ranking brands. Then I joined into learning and development. Then right now I do the lecturing. I'm a motivation trainer and corporate trainer. And I do a lot of CSI activities as well, like you. I help the youth, for the women, of developments of their soft skill development, as well as the corporate training in other sectors.
Yeah, so actually I just checked your profile yesterday night and I realized you are coming from a hospitality background.
Correct.
So how did you got into this training, development, motivation?
So actually, when you talk about the hospitality sector, there's a gap in Sri Lanka. Gap in Sri Lanka, not because of COVID or not because of the pandemic situation. There are lots of, especially soft skill development, learning and development. I joined the hospitality sector here in 2000. Those days, of course, all hotels, hospitality sector. So they were really keen on the training and learning and development. So right now, of course, actually this is the area, not even hospitality, most of the industries needs to pay high attention to develop the soft skill development as well as the learning and development of
It's not only the hospitality industry, it's a full scale of the corporate background.
Certainly, yeah. It has to go for the full set of corporate background, and you can move into public partnerships as well. Even the government sector also required the training very much Sulo.
So you saw the gap and you stepped out from the hospitality industry to be a trainer, motivational speaker.
So it's like this. While I work in hospitality sector, I used to work in brand like Hilton. So they have a program called departmental training. So this is where I have started, where Hilton career. Then I started as a departmental trainer. Then because I identified there's a potential of giving the training for the employees of the organizations. This is the area where I started. Later on, I became a learning and development manager in an organization.
Okay.
So they have, then after everything I identify, I have potential of start my own business. So where I have started my own training platform, which goes as a trainer, lecturer, and a motivator. So those are the areas I have keen and like to talk about.
Came from Anuradhapura, got into hospitality, saw the gap, came out and started on. So you're an entrepreneur, a social service entrepreneur, and a professional entrepreneur.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
So, when you look at, as you said, a lot of people look at the training as something, not as an investment. But if you look at a knowledge, like if you get a diploma, degree, and a certificate, people think it's an investment. There is a gap on attitude on these soft skills and the knowledge. And if you look at Japan and other countries, they believe in soft skills and the knowledge. etc.
Correct.
So how as a trainer, how we are trying to give this attitude to the corporates?
Sulo, it's a good question you asked. So what I want to tell you, if you look when you talk about best practices, as you mentioned, the countries, especially Japan and developed countries. So from the primary education itself, they have a activity-based education. That's been from the childhood itself. They are providing training for school children. Unfortunately, which could not happen in Sri Lanka for the time being. So that's what the topic has brought up as a widely in Sri Lanka. So this is where we have a gap. So everyone is focusing to get the knowledge. Knowledge is required, but in terms of knowledge, as you mentioned, soft skills development such as communications, teamwork, and working towards the gaps of finding a solutions. So when you talk about soft skills development, this is the area where we are lacking for the time being in the country, Sulo. That's what there's a huge back gap. So when you talk about the corporate sector as well, right now after pandemic got started, after crisis got started, most of the organization, so as a primary, when you talk about their corporate budgets, the training is something they have taken out as a first stage.
It's not only the corporate, even the government.
Government sector as well.
So the human capital, because I remember when the Japan had this Hiroshima bomb, they said we have one asset, that is human assets.
Correct.
But during even crisis, we are not focusing on it.
So this is where, as you said, this is where lacking for the time being, especially customer care management. When you go to any organization, they don't understand what's the importance of customer. And this is the area we really need to. There's a huge gap right now. Even the hospitality sector right now, all the skilled people, they have migrated to different countries. The secondly, of course, they are filling the gap, but still soft skill development. They need to understand how important the customer is a key for any organization, not for the hospitality sector.
Agreed. So even now, if you look at the youth, when we were trying to do MBS, we actually was working, getting experience. Now they are just the degree MBA, and now they look for PhD. So all the certificates are there, but they are not focusing on soft skills. Being in an association, being in a club does not give you the soft skills. So how we can actually tell them the importance of, the soft skills? Because you work with youth. What is your view on that?
When you talk about soft skills, Sulo, this is very important. So area what have been even in terms of customer care, so working towards your management, so getting the decisions when your management has been handled any empowerments. So when you talk about each and every sector, soft skills will connected, Sulo. So therefore, there's a huge, right now, there are some companies, especially corporate sector, public and private sector, they're keen on looking in that, but there's no proper strategy which has been come from the government itself to provide them soft skills development for employees, even for customers. There are many areas we need to focus on that. As you said, soft skills is the area. So knowledge is important, certification is important. Other than that, they should have to have ability to adapt into the environment, working towards a team, and working under pressure right now, and handling the finance of handling your own finance, and communication, which is very, very important, Sulo, right now. So I think very simply, how many of them are return your call, right? If you call someone, especially new employees, so they don't return, they don't
even pick up the phone.
Yeah, I mean, these small things, right? Yeah. So we have to go into that level and give them a kind of important, we have to identify, we have to show them to fill these gaps as soon as possible in the country.
Yeah. So when you said that it has to come in the government and the corporate sector, also the leaders, there is a miscommunication because, a lot of good speakers, just because you are a speaker, you cannot be a trainer. So there is a miscommunication about trainer, speaker, and a lecturer. There are 3 different roles, 3 different professions. So how you, as a corporate trainer, what will be the way we have to rectify that? Because speakers become trainers without content is an issue for trainers to speak about soft skills. So how do you think we have to rectify this?
Trainer, as you said, we have to, even I would like to add the resource person, facilitator. I mean, we have to identify which area. Trainer, it's, one content, he talks about training and development matters. And when you talk about lecturer, lecturer is something he will talk about diversification about particular subjects. So motivator, you just motivate the people based on the subjects, the matter, based on the organization. With these three segments, as you mentioned, not even three, but there are many segments you're identified. But for our people, what happened, most of the trainers or most of the speakers, lecturers, they talk about all content. That is not the right way. If you go to Sulo or any other countries, some people, they only talk about sustainability. Some people, you have to identify your potential area where you really need to keen on. So based on that, you can give them the guidance where audience will be attracted, and this content definitely is required. Which area you will deliver, and what are the steps needs to be done, what is the vision, what could be the goal, and what could be the outcome of the audience. So everything would be matters as you understand. So every trainers must understand what you are good at, what you needs to be taken place, what could be the outcome you can gain on the training, what you have been taken place. So,
yeah, so you are correctly said. So we can't be just speaking on topics unless we are specifically knowledgeable on a topic.
Correct.
And then we have to know what we are delivering and the outcomes. So when you look at Malaysia or UAE, you can't just go and be a trainer there. You can't just go and do a workshop. You have to, in Malaysia, because since I'm registered, you have to be a registered trainer in the Human Resource Ministry. Then only you can deliver the training, and you have to give your contents there. But in Sri Lanka, a lot of corporates spend a lot of money and bring international trainers and give our money to them. The economy does not get it, right? So do you think we should be making it correct that while we bring we need exposure, international trainers we need, but how we can gain their knowledge and also to contribute to the economy?
So I like your question, what you asked. It's a two-way thing, So we need to get the international exposure there. So they are the people who can see the world, because we need to have potential and we need to have insights from those speakers. As well as you said, if you look at the universities, right, anyone wants to get the certification, you need to register under University Grant Commission, so UGC, right? So we talk about. Likewise, unfortunately, when you talk about the learning and development or motivation training or corporate training or coaching, unfortunately, there are local bodies, but still there is no proper international platform has been created in Sri Lanka where any trainer, there are a lot of youngsters also, they are looking at to become a trainer, they are looking at to become a motivator, they are looking at to become a good lecturer, they are willing to become a good facilitator. So in order that we have to introduce I'm going to tell you that there are no places, there are lots of international places, but we have to have a proper platform, the data, or one website or one digital platform. Anyone wants to get registered, what are the qualifications to be filled up, what are the areas need to be filled up, what are the important topics need to be talked, in order that they can choose, they can identify it, so they can go ahead and join into particular international bodies. That is important. Another way around, when you go to the if you are going to take all international trainers and doing the training in Sri Lanka, corporate sector or public or private sector, I would say, unfortunately, as you said, our currencies, our money, it affects definitely, it affects the dollar crisis. So we have to have our own platform where our trainers get registered and our all facilitators get registered. And, any customer wants to get the training. So you go into this, the website. So go into following database, you can pick the trainer and do the training. And also there should be proper ranking system also needs to be taken place. That is important, Sulo. There's no proper rank. Everyone can be deliver the lecturing, everyone can be do the training, but there should be a proper ranking system where based on your content, so based on your motivation deliveries, your ranking goes up. Your popularity will go up. In order that customer will choose the particular correct learner. So likewise, when you talk about if you look at the brands, especially hospitality sector, you have a TripAdvisor, you can, based on the customer review, you can select the big best hotel. Likewise, learning and development also, if you could get in the support from the government, if you could implement one platform, so definitely that will encourage to join for the youth as well, in order that we can save our dollars too.
Yeah, very true, because we have to formalize training and development if we want to actually give a good soft skills in Sri Lanka. While we have the academic, we need to have the soft skills also. So there's a, I wanted to ask this question. We speak about the international training, international platform, and we speak about exporting, but can Sri Lankan trainers go to international and get that exposure and give our knowledge out? Because I think Sri Lanka has a potential of crisis management, motivating when everything goes down, at changing the negative into the positive attitude. But we speak about in our society, but when are we ready to go and train the countries and the corporates who are facing outside the Sri Lanka?
Sulo, I'm sure since you've been in the world, when you go for a top designations, even Tesla, the Mercedes-Benz, Emirates, any brands, if you look at top player, there are some Sri Lankans.
Yes.
Even the learning and development as well. So what we wanted to tell you to audience and what we want to bring you, there should be a proper platform as we discussed, where they need to go out. To go out, not easy, there should be international certification, as you said, needs to be taken place. Not even that, there are some updation needs to be taken place, so that is important, because now the chat GBT on board, content,
you can't play around.
Within 10 seconds you can write your content, and Elon Musk is getting ready to implement the, what you call neural links, where you can read the people, so the trainers, whoever who was looking for international training, they must understand how do they adapt into the environment. Because you can't, if you look at the students, when you do the lecturing or when you do the teaching in Sri Lanka, students, it's really they'll ask the question back from the lecturer. But if you could go to Europe, so if you do deliver wrong content, so students will raise their hands and they will tell you, Mr. So and so they are telling the wrong thing.
They will always challenge you.
They always challenge you. This could be the therefore, if you're looking for if you're looking for to go out from the country and do the international training or lecturing or facilities in anything, you should have to update. You should have to make sure deliver the correct content where audience will be attracted. In order that, as you said, definitely it will have more chance to get the foreign currencies in the other country. That will help to get rid of our economic issue, Sulo.
My final question to you: how do you think corporate should look at learning and development?
It's this is the area, Sulo. As I said, learning and development. I would say, since the hospitality sector, I would say now, if you do not give them a training, soft skill development on how to handle the, let's say, crockery and cutlery, you think the employee, how many glasses, how many fees
loss will be
the bigger amount. So company, especially my request would be especially this comes under the head of HR, human resources. They need to make sure definitely you shouldn't take it out your training and development budget. So every day you have to not even getting the facilitator or trainer from the outside. You can develop, as I said,
have
you can
your
develop all trainers on your platform as well. So department trainers can identify the potential people, the career developments. So when you have this kind of platform, so definitely they'll stay back. The other thing, Suro, the people think that people only living for salary. So not even salary people leave because recently they have done a research. So most of the people leaving not because of salary, because of the environment is a factor. People are leaving from the organization. Therefore, especially head HR, human resource development needs to be keen on to keep the better environment. To keep the better environment, definitely you should have to have a learning development, because people now youth, of course, right now the generation would like to develop every day. So if there are nothing to learn from the particular organization, definitely they move into other organizations where they can learn many things.
Thank you so much. Today we had Suranga Tennakoon, who's a corporate trainer, motivational speaker, and a lecturer. He spoke about the importance of learning and development, and also he's told about how the Sri Lanka should have a system for trainers to get registered and also for them to give the best to the country. Not only that, how the soft skills matters for the corporates to get the productivity and the profit. And thank you, Suranga, for joining us, and it's a pleasure to have you with us.
It was a great discussion, Sulo. So looking forward to give you best support in future.
Thank you
all the
so
best.
much. So this is Plenty with Sulo.